Whew. So, continuing with the cringiest fan fiction ever created by yours truly is it's actually less awful than I remember. Now don't get your hopes up. It's still awful. It's still your typical 13-year-old's wildest dreams put pen to paper. Here we go. So the story I called is Mario and Friends, and it actually had an interesting premise. Basically, it was Mario, Zelda. Basically, they were in this video game high school sort of setting. Like, I actually thought, and back then I was I wasn't in high school quite yet. So back then I thought the high school setting was actually very chill. After, in hindsight, it's not. I hate high school and school in general. Guys, just complete school, get out of there. But, in hindsight, I actually thought high school was actually really, really cool. I thought it was a place of just romance, stuff like that. And I always really liked places with a high school setting. Persona 5, I actually really like the setting that it takes place in because it's just the perfect place. I've always sort of had a soft spot for the high school setting. So, with that being said, this story takes place in for the most part, the setting is a high school sort of, but it's a little all over the place. I was not the best writer when I was 12 years old. Go figure. But in any case, the first thing I said was this story is help. And yeah, I'm gonna be looking at my phone this whole time because I'm not memorizing the whole thing that I wrote. Okay, sorry. But yeah, the first thing I said is this story is helped being written by a Stewie Griffin admin, which was a lie. I just like Stewie, and I wanted to make up a reason why I included him in the story. And the reason was, there's a friend of mine that runs another fan page called Stewie Griffin. So yeah, I was just obsessed with these characters at this time. But anyways, and 3 future admins, and I said yes, they are actually at my house. It was questionable if I was still living at my own house at that point. So that was a lie. Let alone am I sociable enough to go out of my way and ask my neighbors, hey, do you have a fan page so I have a reason to make up a story? It just wasn't that cut and dry when it came to my interactions with other human beings. At least 5 years ago it wasn't. But at any rate, Mario burst through the door. Yes, first place. So basically the setup was to introduce Mario as the main character. Obviously, because it was my page, I was Mario. So yes, first place is him beating Link in a race. So Link also burst through the door of the classroom. Obviously, I did not add a lot of context. I did not add a lot of actual world building to my little fictional place. I just thought everything sort of explained itself, and that was a flaw I had back then. And probably even now, I just feel like certain stuff just goes without saying. Like, you guys might hear it or not. Oh, obviously you guys already know, or obviously this, or obviously that. That's why I said it a lot, because I just assume everyone around me are just Einstein level geniuses. But sometimes I just need to slow down and explain a lot of stuff that goes on, because that's, in general, that's what's considered good storytelling. But yeah, you guys heard I'm gonna buckle down for this. Link burst through the door. No. Okay, I'm a man of my word. He takes out an unidentified mask from his pocket and hands it to Mario. Mario says, "Wahoo! I'm the winner. Here, if it means anything to you, take this." Takes out a statue leaf. I misspelled leaf. I put LAEF. I told you guys I was stupid and I was illiterate. I that was not an exaggeration. I was stupid. I was just so dumb back then. I could not spell for the life of me. Plus, I didn't have autocorrect on iPhones. It's just stuff that helps you spell in general. And plus, I just got a whole lot smarter. Like the glow up was real for me. But this is not about me now. This is about me being stupid and dumb then. So Link's present to Mario, if he won, in the case that he won, was a unidentified mask, calling back to Majora's Mask, and Mario's reward for Link was the statue leaf, which I consider the statue leaf the best power up for Mario. He's practically invincible when he turns into a statue. Plus, I really like his pose. I just thought it was a really cool power up. I still think it's a really cool power up. It's not too overpowered, and it's also a really cool prospect. I wish they had turned it into a mechanic all on its own, like they murdered it in Super Mario Odyssey. Like any power up you got from an enemy was like straight up fleshed out and turned into a mechanic. Odyssey was so incredible, but back then I thought the statue leaf was the greatest Mario power up. Nothing could ever come close to it. Now, probably the same thing. Yeah, probably the same thing. Design wise, I think it's pretty cool. It's a Tanuki with a scarf on. I mean, and also it calls back on Japanese culture, Japanese mythology, stuff like that. So, in any case, Link says awesome. Obviously, these two are heroes. They're just so modest. They can't let each other win. They can't let each other go without something. That was what I was putting out there. Mario's not a villain. Mario is always the morally righteous one. He's the Captain America of the Nintendo universe, basically. Now, I put that they both take a seat. And that's basically it. Like, there's no yeah, I want. Like, Mario's not cheering as he takes a seat. It's just they take a seat. So there was a lot of. It was just very lifeless overall. If I had to criticize my 12-year-old self, it was very lifeless. A lot of stuff just wasn't elaborated on. Even though there's no point in criticizing my 12-year-old self, but because I sort of outgrew that. But it's always good to criticize yourself. In any case. They both take a seat. Stewie comes in the picture. I did not put enter Stewie. Stewie just starts talking to him. But the context I was trying to set up also was that it was a Nintendo school, that it was a video game school. So, what? So you guys are getting it now. So it's like, why is Stewie there? Back like 5 years ago, maybe? I was a massive Stewie fan. Like, I thought Stewie was and is, I still think Stewie is the best Family Guy character, but I was obsessed with Family Guy in and of itself more so. Like, Stewie was actually hilarious. Like, he was the most grounded character in the show to me, but he also had these crazy adventures going on the side with Brian, stuff like that. And this video game, Family Guy had a video game on the Xbox 360. I forget what it was called, but a lot of commentary from Stewie came out there, and I just think as a character, Stewie grows the most. Like, he's just not this static character. If there was any character development in Family Guy at all, Stewie was that character that grew. He turned from a baby that just wants to dominate the world and kill Lois to questionably sexual little boy that just always smack talks people and goes on adventures. He even saves the world a couple of times. It's a really interesting character to go where you got Peter, who's just stupid. Like, he's just stupid. It's almost a unheard of type of stupid, if that's anything to say. But his entire character is that he's just stupid, and stupid things happen. He just makes the worst decisions in any case. So he's just a really, really exaggerated idiot, which in and of itself is a really interesting choice by Seth MacFarlane, but it's not better than Stewie's. So Stewie talks to Mario, and he's like, Fat Man, are you coming to my party? And basically, Fat Man is what Stewie calls Peter. If you guys look at Family Guy, you already know that. But basically, I took that and I turned it into a context of my own, where it's like, okay, so Stewie knows Mario well enough to where he has a nickname for him, and also he calls him the Fat Man, so it sort of establishes Stewie has that sort of bond with these characters. He would probably just call Mario an imbecile if he didn't know him or whatever. So these guys have known each other for a while. At least that's what I was trying to get at back then. But obviously, a 12-year-old's writing isn't J.R.R. Tolkien or what's her name that wrote the Harry Potter series. I'm sure one of you guys are going to put it in the comments, but yeah, it's not that poetic. So in any case, Mario says, of course, who doesn't go to your parties? So again, these guys know each other for a long time. Stewie has a reputation for throwing the wildest parties in the whole school. So, of course, who doesn't go to your parties? And that's the thing, these guys are the most popular. Like, they know Stewie, they know the party thrower. So in a sense, this was sort of living out my own sort of at least imagination of being popular, because I think a lot of us can relate. Like, a lot of us never knew what it was like to be popular, and now in retrospect, I think being popular is overrated, because towards the end of my high school career, I became a lot more popular, and at the end of the day, I found out I didn't really want it. It didn't really mean anything. It's something that I strived for a really long time, and it turns out that I really did not need that. But when I was 12-year-old, I wanted to be the most popular person in the world. So that almost sort of reflects in the writing of this. So these guys are all popular. These guys are all attractive. You'll see when Mario puts on the mask. But Stewie says, hey, that's right. I don't know what I was thinking when I put that for Stewie. I think Stewie was unaware of his popularity or something, and or maybe he was just being condescending. He was like, that's right. I have no idea. But Stewie says, hey, that's right. Mario says, okay, when is it? So in this sort of exchange of dialogue is really, really awkward, I realized. Yeah, it's really awkward. I don't know what I was thinking when I was writing this. Maybe a genuine conversation. Like, there's not a lot of exposition here. And that's what I don't like when people say, well, why is there so much exposition? Or there's way too much exposition. And I think, well, if there isn't any exposition, you'll complain then. So exposition is sort of a dual-edged sword. Like, you need exposition, as you can see by this awful fan fiction. But Mario says, okay, when is it? He says, actually. And I told you guys, I could not spell back then. So I put actually, but obviously it's actually. Actually, and I put the Y-O-U-R instead of Y-O-U-R-E. You're the first person I've told. So what I need you to do is help me get people to come. There's nothing really to say right here. Mario takes out my phone and takes all the people I know about it. So this was putting a sort of modern spin on the Mario brothers, or just video game characters in general, giving them their own sort of world to thrive in. And it was modern. Like, it was, I think Final Fantasy 15, like, there's cars now, there's cell phones now, stuff like that. So I sort of put a modern spin on it. Like, in a Mario game, you'll probably never see Mario getting on the phone. I know that there's a picture of Bowser on his phone, but that was just for advertising for Nintendo's little student app thing or whatever. So yeah, dang, I'm gonna have to make a part 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna have to make this a 5-part series. But in any case, yeah. So far, it's awful, like I told you guys. So next time, and this video is about 15 minutes, so I will leave it at that. Next time, guys, we're gonna talk about the second part of this garbage. I mean, the third part of this garbage. Second part of this garbage. So I will see you guys in the next part. Peace.